Assignment of benefits is only something that can be used once a qualifying loss under the insurance policy has occurred. Once the loss happens, all of the other rights have already accrued. At that point, now it falls to determining, well, what's the value of the loss? So it really takes the homeowner out of the equation, and the contractor kind of gets to be the hero. The language needs to be very specific as to which rights are being assigned. It's extremely powerful.
Hi and hello everyone. We are on the Magic Plan channel again. Today hosting Josh from One Claim Solutions, which has one topic to which I think there are a lot of, I call them urban myth. At least I have the feeling that it is that way. So I'm really excited to kind of like debunk those today. Hi, Josh.
Thank you, Andreas. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
So yeah, what are we talking about? You are a lawyer by profession, and maybe you want to just give us your twist on how have you entered the restoration industry? What are you doing with One Claim Solutions right now?
Yeah, no, that's a good entry right there. I am an attorney. I only practice in the restoration space. All of my clients are restoration contractors. I've been involved in this industry for about 10 years now. I was involved in this industry for about, 2.5 years before I started One Claim Solution. And just saw a need in the restoration industry where there was just a lot of contractors walking away from, small balances that were left over with insurance companies that they owed them. They were too afraid to go back and balance bill homeowners or whatever else there was. And there was a need in the industry for attorneys to be able to be a little bit more involved, but it just wasn't super economical. No one wants to pay an attorney $3, $4, $5,000 on a retainer to go to try to collect $3 or $4 or $5,000. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And that's kind of where One Claim Solution was born, out of that concept on how to make it so that contractors could have attorneys more available to them, and it was more of just a billing agency concept where One Claim Solution steps in and is able to handle all of the dealings with insurance companies, on behalf of the contractors, and still bring that accountability to the whole overall process. And that was kind of the idea behind it, and it's been pretty wild ride since we started OCS, One Claim Solution. We call it OCS. We started it back in 2016. We've been fortunate enough to be on the front lines of a lot of the litigation surrounding what we call the assignment of benefits. Again, that's not something that's super new to the insurance world, but for whatever reason, pre-2016, not a lot of restoration contractors were using the assignment of benefits. And my background before I came into this industry, I was general counsel with an air ambulance billing company doing medical billing type stuff. And of course, in medical insurance, the assignment of benefits is a common thing. You don't get to see a doctor or go through an emergency room door without signing an assignment of benefits. But for whatever reason in the property world, it just really wasn't something that was being used. So we've been fortunate enough to be on the front end of that with some really strong case law against a couple of carriers, and continue to fight that fight. So it's been great.
So there we are. Assignment of benefits is, I think, the topic of today, in a way. And like my question is, and we're hinting at this already. I mean, one of the problems from my experience is that in insurance claims there are just too many people involved, right? There's the homeowner, there's the restoration company, there's the insurance company. Sometimes there's an appraiser in between, and now you come in as an attorney. So, like at first impression, you blow up the number of people involved, which is, I don't think, the way we want to go, right? We would actually like to kind of bring that number of parties down, and
Yep.
the assignment of benefits is one way to do so, right?
Absolutely.
Help me a little bit, and then I'm going to tease you still somewhat more, because I'm really curious of how you make that work.
Yeah, for sure. So let's step back a little bit, Andreas, and understand exactly what the assignment of benefits is. Okay, the assignment is, and where the carriers will typically attack it first is they try to call it a transfer of the policy, right? That's not what an assignment of benefits is. An assignment of benefits is only something that can be used once a qualifying loss under the insurance policy has occurred. At that point in time, then the rights, the post loss rights in that insurance policy have accrued. Okay, once those rights have accrued, then they can be assigned to somebody else. And so that's why the assignment actually simplifies the amount of players involved in this whole process, right? So at OCS, we typically just represent emergency service contractors, okay? The contractors that come in and do the water mitigation, mold remediation, maybe contents, those types of things. That's where we focus. And so these more or less first responders come in, they're able to deal with the homeowner who's never had one of these losses before. Most likely they don't really know the process, and most homeowners don't have $10,000-$15,000 that they're sitting on in order to pay a contractor up front for a contractor to do work, like is what happens in the normal world outside of insurance. You want your house to be fixed, you want to remodel your house, you're going to pay an upfront deposit to a contractor, and you give them, progress payments as the job moves along. That doesn't really happen in the emergency service world. A lot of people don't have that kind of money and they don't plan on it. So the contractor is able to come in through that assignment and say, hey, look, in exchange for this, we'll agree to move forward with doing the services now. Because if this is a covered loss, then we can just deal with your carrier directly. You're assigning to me, to us, that those post-loss rights to receive payment. And so it really takes the homeowner out of the equation. They get to focus on putting their house back together and dealing with this that they've never had to deal with before. And the contractor kind of gets to be the hero, come in, do the work, deal with the carrier directly, because they're now negotiating their own rights to be able to receive payment. And so if the homeowner has a public adjuster or anything like that, most likely I've seen it maybe just a couple of times where the homeowner will hire a public adjuster at the very beginning, right? That doesn't happen hardly ever. That only happens typically once, there's problems in the process and claim. But once that the mitigation contractor has that assignment of benefits, that's their right. They are now standing in the shoes of the policyholder to be able to deal directly with the carrier. It's extremely powerful. And so it eliminates a couple of potential players from the equation automatically right there.
I think those are 2 points that I'd like to focus on a little bit that you touched on. First of all, you mentioned, okay, it's certain types of cases or restoration companies that you primarily deal with, emergency mitigation. And that is like answered one question: is there kind of a specific type of claim that assignment of benefits is actually useful or most recommended? And then the second bit is what you mentioned, and where I'd like to push back a little bit. Okay, now that first part of the job is done, but what about the reconstruction? What about kind of like the rest of the claim? I mean, this is not what you mentioned, is, to my understanding, not the entirety of what the homeowner needs, but it is a certain portion. And what then? I mean, from a homeowner's perspective, is it the same company that does the emergency response then whom I'm going to talk to and continue the work? And then that is where I'd like to understand a little bit better how you can really make that clear, how, in terms of kind of like managing expectations, at what point which rights cover what, because that still is eventually where I think there can be problems arise or debates. Or
Okay. Yeah, no, it's a fair question. So, and I can clarify that a little bit with that assignment of benefits, right? The language needs to be very specific as to which rights are being assigned,
Mhm.
and limit it to specifically just the work that specific contractor is doing. So it would be only as related to the work that the water mitigation company is doing. Anything outside of that, then it would need another assignment of benefits or another contract anyways for those services to be done. I do know of a lot of water mitigation contractors that truly can act as a general contractor. They can oversee the entire gauntlet of things that need to be done in order to put that property back to a pre-loss condition. They're able to do the water mitigation. They're able to coordinate any testing for asbestos or lead or anything like that that needs to be done. They're able to help coordinate contents to be packed out and put back. They're able to even go the next step and help with the reconstruction, rebuilding everything. But each one of those different processes will need its own assignment of benefits, unless the contractor comes in at the beginning and says, hey, I will handle everything for you. And here's my overall contract. And so at that point, if they have one contract to handle everything, it's going to be the same assignment of benefits for all of that. And the contractor can take care of it. But if they're just doing one portion of it, their assignment needs to be very specific as to just that portion of the work that they're doing.
So depending on what in restoration company am I'm kind of like more inclined or less inclined to use this assignment of benefits to cover like all of my work. And then the homeowner just needs to understand immediately that this one portion is covered and maybe another portion is not, right?
That's right.
And I mean, also what you said in the very beginning, when a loss happens and those rights accrue, was
Correct.
that the wording? Like, how specific can you tell that in advance? What are your kind of best practices in determining and figuring out kind of like, this is what you are owed now, and so this is what I can take care of?
Mm-hmm. So that question can tend to get into the area of public adjusting a little bit, and unless a contractor is a qualified public adjuster and can talk to those things, most contractors are not super familiar with insurance policies, and they're not licensed public adjusters, so they're not allowed to speak to policy issues, right? But what is the most important thing to understand there, Andres, is once the loss happens, all of the other rights have already accrued. Like they're there. At that point, now it falls to determining, well, what's the value of the loss? What's the scope of services that need to be completed in order to restore the property to pre-loss condition? All of those rights have accrued now, just because of that one single triggering event of a qualifying loss under the policy.